That's actually pretty solid. Bradley does tend to bring me new music.
Sorry, folks. I'm all kerfuffled. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 442 of the Maritime Paintball Podcast. My name is Brad O'Dell, and with me, as always, is
your king of paintball, who has discovered.
Why can't we hear him?
I don't know. You broke it again, didn't you?
I didn't. I'm not used to somebody else being in the studio right before I go on the air. That was the issue. So now that I've got my stuff figured out, I'm all sorted out. We're good to go. I gotta go.
Are you ready to do this now? Like, or can we start
hold on?
Show,
you know what the thing was? Is we were like the system went live, and it was like last week's show was playing, and now it's us, and we were all over the place. So,
do you need anything else? Is program lady, boss lady there? Tell her we say hi. Just invite them in. Anyways, hi everybody. It's me, your king of paintball, and we have Brandon Olson from the Paintball Dirt newsletter, who's come to. Brad left him alone with me for like 10 minutes.
I completely forgot to tell Tom that he was coming on the air. It's hilarious.
I jump in I just jump in the call, and I look up. I'm like, Brandon Olson, and then I look down, and you have your head down, and you're texting. I'm like, Bradley, who's Brandon Olson?
Yeah,
he's like,
got the message.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, I forgot to tell him who he was. So they've just been sitting here like awkwardly staring at each other in silent webcams the entire time. It's fantastic. I love it.
It was pretty good.
Yes, I am all over the place. Bear with me 1 second. Tom, why don't you pay a couple of the bills for a quick second?
Well, first of all, we've got the Tippmann D-Day Challenge coming up at the end of May, beginning of June. The first weekend is going to be in Ottawa. We're going to be there partying it down. I'm going to try to pull my best Duff Man impression once again. Bradley's going to be emceeing, so we would love to see everybody there. Moncton Paintball has officially started their season, so Bring yourselves out to my home. I love my field. The King's Woods are they're looking bare. They need some paint in those trees. We got to fix that. What else? Be a mensch. Buy yourself some Quench. It is a refreshing energy drink that Bradley has found. It's a hydration system. It is delicious. I've been told.
It's not a beverage. It's a hydration system.
It'll kick your ass. We've got Cat's Customs. Wearing once again, I've got my strap-on edition hanging on here, and Brad's is around here somewhere. We've got who else? Anyone else? Who am I missing? Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of somebody.
I don't know. I'm still trying to settle in.
I noticed that. It's unusual.
I know. I'm all over the place.
That's all right. Sorry. You'll be fine.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry that the content and the quality of this entirely free to you content is
it's free. You can listen to it or you can turn it off. And plus, we're on public radio on beautiful 97.9 CHSR in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Thank you very much to our amazing hosts who continue to allow us to broadcast every week. As far as I know, we are still the only radio show in North America dedicated to the wonderful sport of paintball.
How cool is that, right? How cool is that?
Still, it's unbelievable. That somebody wants to let us talk about paintball every week. It's unreal.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking about talking about paintball every week, Brandon, you've been sitting there quietly.
Yeah.
Wondering what he agreed to.
Yeah, 100%. He's just like, oh no, what have I done?
This is good. I've been listening to your guys' podcast for a while, and I had no idea that you guys were actually on the radio. And then when you sent me that message this morning, I was like, oh, that intro makes way more sense now. And then I was like, man, these guys are so professional in the beginning, and like there's no cussing. Like I'm pretty amazed at, how you guys have been able to do this. And then when you said it's on the radio, I was like, makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Because if you go back into the archives and you hear stuff from last year or a year and a half ago, we can't talk about a lot of that stuff anymore. God, there are days I really do miss. There's days I do miss it. I still think once in a while I have to go. We have to do another uncensored show just because God.
We should
makes us have to really work on our game though, which is I can't lean on just being filthy.
Why not? It worked for George Carlin.
Oh, don't listen. I'll never be that amazing. Stop that.
Right. Sorry, hold on. There's stuff is like all over. Like, what is going on here? What is going on, people? Anyways, while I fiddle with the microphone, Brandon, why don't you explain a little bit about yourself, why we brought you on, what's going on, why do you have what appears to be a minimum of 8 paintball masks behind you.
Oh,
I saw that.
Okay. This is a small JT collection. Yeah, it used to go all the way up to the ceiling here. It's like every few years I buy way too many JT paintball goggles. It's like a weird obsession of mine. I've been wearing the Proteus since like 2012. So I
Wonderful.
decided to actually like collect them now. And I think I might have the biggest collection of them.
So you've seen all of the insanity of the last like 6-8 months of the clears going wild.
Yes.
People trying to like sell clears and then to strip the bottom to make them clear. Okay, you've seen all that too. Every time I see JT people now, I'm like, cool. So we all watch that.
Well, basically,
because
JT
I've been sucked in.
Well, because we both fell in love with the ProFlex, but it really was JT just kind of looking at what was going on with Hormesis. And people going nuts over it, spending a stupid amount of money on stuff. And JT was like, and then I think they looked at that. And then they looked at, what's the brand? Champion. All the kids are like, oh, you got to wear Champion gear now. I'm like, Champion? You mean the poor kid stuff from Kmart?
Yeah. Yep.
And they're like, no, it's like $150 a sweater. I'm like, 150. We used
Converse
to beat up and give kids Champion sweaters.
Next is going to be Jordache is coming back.
Echo.
I would buy another pair of puffy Echo pants.
I
love
those
things.
Oh my god! Like the Echo Unlimited jeans, like those things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
The Rhino. Yeah, it's coming back. I've already seen sunglasses.
They had the silliest marketing strategy for the longest time too. It was just like, here's a Rhino like running on a skateboard, and then you're like, what do they sell? We don't know. And it was awesome.
Just buy it.
Super awesome.
And no one cared.
What is this marketing? Don't worry about it. Shut up. Buy the product.
It's cool. Shut your face.
100%.
Do you want like Janko jean? Do you want like a super impractical wide jean that gets destroyed as soon as you wear it outside? Yes, I do. Do you want to pay $100 for them? Apparently.
Do you want to have damp ankles all afternoon, kids?
Yes.
Do you want to be mildly damp feet and uncomfortable all day, every day? And then JT kind of looked at that and went like, we can do that.
Yeah.
And people go crazy for it because what is old is new again. I've said this for ages. What is old is new. Nostalgia runs in 20-year cycles. And if I remember right, 20 years ago, you couldn't wave a stick and not hit 4 people that were wearing a JT or slinging
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking of that, right? Like the Halo Pro. Like I'm not gonna lie. One of the most fun things I've used.
Like a Halo was my first hopper. I ran it until paint somehow shorted the board.
Yep.
And I won another one.
Yeah. Hey, this Halo. Hey, free ad, right? The Halo Pro, sick. It brought me back to my first Halo. As soon as I putting it together.
Halo's giving me one. No, I'm kidding.
Yep. I'm just saying, like putting it together though, it was like putting together an old Halo. You're like, man, this really sucks, So I have to use it this weekend.
Wait. Does it have the infuriatingly tiny little hinge spring that is super sharp?
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, of course, dude. I put that right through my finger immediately. I was like, sick, I'm bleeding. Okay, there's wires, It's sick.
Little known fact, every Halo hopper requires a blood sacrifice to operate functionally. If anybody ever says my Halo hopper didn't work, it's because they didn't cut themselves putting the damn thing together.
1000%.
You're actually making me want to buy it because I'm pretty sure I'd be down for blood sacrifice to improve my paintball game any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, and it like barely holds a pot of paint. Sick.
I mean, I barely shoot a pot of paint off a point anyways, so I mean.
It's like this. The Halo, what's it do? It's absolute garbage. You should buy one.
Well, it works though. It works. No matter what, it's gonna work.
It does.
But every little feature, it doesn't got that, No features.
Right. No. It's like it's the same reason why you see like old guys when they get to middle age and they buy that old classic car that doesn't have AC, doesn't have power windows, doesn't have seatbelts. You know what I mean? They're not buying it because of all the creature features. They're buying it because it reminds them of a more lawless time. See what I did there, Tom?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Hey, there's a reason people buy autocockers, right?
Yep.
There's a reason for it.
There's a
So.
reason people are just masochists. I bought a trailer and modified a old caravan from the 70s into what is a fantastic little place to sleep, and shamelessly laying there on Saturday night playing PS5 and drinking coffee, camping like only I would camp, right? There's a French press over there bubbling away. I'm smoking and I'm watching Vin Diesel, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage.
Oh man,
this is such a terrible movie, but it just
don't care
everything so perfectly.
Care. It's so
good. Combat sports, the night before, the night after a day of combat sports, you have to watch a crappy movie. Not even a crappy movie. You just need to watch some kind of like we watched MASH. We've watched anything that you can find that's a feel good or just kind of a relaxing movie. And for whatever reason, Vin Diesel just tried to do cool again after 20 years was funny as hell to me all night. I'm laying there. I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? Then remember I was going to play airsoft. So I mean, what the hell? It doesn't matter.
That's amazing. What's truly amazing is that we went on that insane tangent and we still don't actually know why Brandon's here.
Oh, sorry, that's normal paintball talk, right?
100%.
So yeah, my name is Brandon Olson. I started playing paintball when I was 9. I'm now 27, so I've been playing paintball longer than I haven't been. I think it was 2006. I think I played my first game, but
oh, we lost you, bro. You got no audio. We lost your mic.
Check the cord.
Nope, we lost you.
We don't hear you. You don't hear us. Anyways, while he's figuring that out, he's gonna.
It went. Nope. No. What is that?
What is happening? There's fireworks going off behind you.
Oh my god.
So
that was amazing. What was that? How did that work? Did he like
I don't know. We're suffering some fantastic
the best technical difficulties we've ever experienced, folks. By the way, while he's working on his audio,
yeah, we have no audio. Did you check that little cord from earlier that we were talking about? It's got to be it.
I think it's that. While he's doing that, the phone lines are working. I tested them. They work. 1-506-453-4979. You can call us. The phones are now working.
Do it.
So very exciting.
It's WrestleMania weekend.
Nope, we don't have you, bud.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what to tell you.
Do you want to exit the call and come back in? Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. Look at
that's
that.
Right. Get out of here.
If it doesn't work, power cycle the unit.
Have you tried turning it off and back on?
Next weekend is the Star Wars game. The space trade dispute game.
No, it's just the Star Wars game. I think he's just
okay.
Star Wars.
There's droids. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. They're running that out at AXP. Next weekend at Moncton Paintball is Airsoft New Brunswick's game, which is always a blast because if you like pew pew guns and you really want to have fun, kind of play like a modified MagFed, you can tear around Moncton's amazing field in close with like shotguns and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Brandon, do we have you back yet?
Does this work?
This works.
Fine. We've had worse.
I just had to switch devices. I think for some reason the Wi-Fi just isn't connected.
You're very far away. You can get closer.
Yeah, this one has a different camera, so
that's fine.
It's just zoom it in.
Very Attack on Titan kind of angle.
Yeah. If you bring it down, we can just like look up your nose and see. Right now, this is a modern. If you come from down here and looking up, it's the boomer.
The boomer. Yep.
Yeah, the nose angle.
Yeah.
There
we go. But we got you. So Brandon, tell us about yourself, man. Why?
They're done.
Okay, so my name's Brandon Olson. Been playing paintball a while.
We lost your audio again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you.
I was about to lose it. That was good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfectly timed. So I guess I will go back and say that I went to college for history and I got a history degree, which is a fancy way of saying I have a reading and writing degree. It's like, can you read? Can you write? So I've always enjoyed writing, and I'd been helping a bunch of friends in the paintball industry with producing decent writing that has like no spelling errors, things like that. So,
that's a good start with paintballers.
Yeah.
I no shade, but we're not poets for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, hey, can you proofread this for me? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I do also train in jujitsu, and I was talking to a jujitsu friend of mine, and just telling him like, hey, I'd like to get into writing, whatever. And I've been doing some other projects for other people, and he was like, hey, I used to assist with a newsletter back in the day. It was like an economics newsletter, and he's like, really easy. He's like, if you're already doing the work, just put it out under your name. So I was like, might as well do that. So for the last few months, I've just been putting out this weekly newsletter. It's pretty simple. I get a few basic bullet points, like news in the paintball industry, a few local bits of news, and then I do. I didn't intend on doing like Q&As. I intended on writing just articles on people and teams and stuff, and like people who more like on the small level, like people that don't get the shine, right? And I noticed right away, like even sending emails with just questions, people were putting real time into it. And like in their own words, they were putting in like they were making real content in their own words. And I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't just like write an article about this person. I should let them actually, tell something about it. So these Q&As have kind of taken off, and I've included one with each newsletter. So that's just what I've been doing. And I'm using the Substack platform, which is it's like Twitter for writers.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been using. Anyway, that's the gist of it.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
All of
I'm
that
digging
is
that,
super
man.
cool because, well, one, you did what I always wanted to do when I was a kid. I always wanted to go to school for history and was told exactly that by,
Yep.
family business people who run family businesses are like, why do you want to go to school to be just to study history? What are you gonna do with that? You're gonna go to school and you're gonna teach? No, we're gonna you're gonna teach you business. I'm like, oh, but I want to study history. That'd be so much more fun than doing what I currently do. And yet I find a way to do it. But you translate that into writing and working on a newsletter, and just for giggles, you just wanted to do it, and then it turned into that's wild.
Yeah, and for some reason people are really enjoying it. So
it's because it's honestly, man, it's one, it's really nice to read something that isn't on Facebook. Right off the bat. Like that's the first thing. When you sent me the link and you were like, yo, check this out, I was like, this isn't just another Facebook group or a Facebook page. Like, let's go. Let's go check this out. Excuse me. My allergies are kicking in bad, so I'm gonna start.
I've been reading it since I figured out who was coming on tonight. I immediately jumped on and started reading and going through it. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is
like
great.
it's a
it
full
has
length,
that old school feel. I love it.
Exactly. It's got that old school feel. It's a full length newsletter, right? But I love the fact that even though it's, I don't want to say it's long, it's long form.
It is, yeah.
It's bites of information, right? You didn't try and write a 2-page article on why Planet Eclipse has to increase their prices. You included 5 sentences that summed it up and said, here's a link if you want to go see what they said. And then you moved on to the next topic. And it's very quick and it's easy to digest. You skim through it. Anything that really catches your attention, you just go be like, oh, I'm going to go look deeper into that on my own time.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I love about it.
And my thought with it too was like, I want something that like, something that paintball as an industry struggles with is tying weekend to weekend, right? It's like, okay, you got done playing on a Sunday. What do you have until next Saturday or Sunday, right? Some fields will be like, let's play Wednesday. Let's do Friday night under the lights. And then there's like podcasts, which are sick. I listen to podcasts. I'll watch like the Go Sports video of the week, whatever. But I'm like, I really want to read something. You know what I mean? So it's like, we get Great American Paintball twice a year, which is sick. Like the Faithful stuff is cool. Paintball Media, they do like a weekly magazine, but you don't like get it, right? You got to flip through. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? What if I put something in somebody's news, like in their email once a week? So it's like if, everyone goes into their email and looks for some password at some time during the day, right? So it's like, if you're in your email, you'll see that and maybe you'll read about paintball for,
my thing is, I'm at work. and it comes in. It's like bing. I'm like, oh wait, new newsletter. Like, let's read it. Like it's great because then it's just like coffee break. Like
once again, the pro wrestling angle swings its head over here because I love that he calls it Paintball Dirt. It's a dirt sheet. It's a dirt sheet. Like it feels like if you've ever read the Observer, that's exactly what that gives me that feel. I love that.
Yeah.
The insider track, and then you could be free to be a little jaundice in your journalism if you wanted to be a little bit yellow, and you could really
it's not an academic article. It's not you're not filling like Paintball Media does a great job, but there's a reason why there's one a month. Is 4 or 5 pages of text for a single event.
So
which is great.
I'm having a what is it? I'm having a moment of inspiration, like I do every so often. I keep having that
a headache with pictures.
That's a headache with pictures. It's that moment in
that's good.
That moment in Blazing Saddles where I'm like, wait a minute, because you could totally go dirt sheet on this, and just go filthy with it, and that's awesome.
Filthy. He means like the opposite of academic. He's not saying like
No, you're not going to turn this into a porno newsletter. There's about 33 billion of them on the internet. No.
Hey, I mean, Playboy did a pretty good job with their fishing tips.
Good articles will carry anything. You keep saying that Paintball Media needs to go back to the days where it was lawless and well-written articles.
Paintball Media is doing a great job. Paintball Media is an actual organization, an actual company.
I don't mean the company. I mean...
But yes, paintball, that's okay. That's the vibe I get. So I'm going to be that guy. I'm on the radio. I know this is an audio format, but for anyone watching live or watching the recording, when I look at the article on my phone, the color that you've chosen, whether you've chosen that or purposely or the Substack has given you.
It was intentional,
Okay. And the very, not bland, but it's clearly, what is it, like New Times Roman? Or is that like like an old font? It feels like the old
the different fonts. Look at me.
Yeah, when you stare at a computer screen as long as I have, and as long as I do every day, you can. But what I'm saying is, it looks like old paintball internet.
Yep, it does. Yes.
It gives me a warm fuzzy feeling.
Angel Fire, GeoCities.
Yeah,
but modern and functional.
Yeah. Minus
you have a
really
section of
gifts.
like a speculation section, like has Ryan Greenspan become vegan? Just some total absolute sensational shit.
No. If we're gonna do that, man, you got
someone's gonna steal the idea anyway, so I might as well say it.
No, you gotta go full bore and just be like, has Dynasty really recruited Bad Boy? Like,
yeah, that's what we need. Yep.
And then just no, they haven't. Like,
I think I'm telling you, you would find a subsection of people who enjoy going and enjoying some recreational and giggling reading that shit. And I'm telling you, it would be hilarious.
Yeah. I love it. So
I love Weekly World News.
So you've explained about what is this? William McDonald, the New Testament of paintball is in the writing. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Is, yeah.
Every so often, the first night of Smoke Onda comes out with some sage stuff. Thank you, Wobbles.
So we've talked about like where it came from, why you did it.
Yeah.
What are some current highlights, man? Like what's like you started it. What's come out of it that you were like, wow, that's cool. Like what's some cool stuff that you've stumbled into?
Well, the Substack platform, if you when you're trying to set up like a newsletter or anything on there for people to support your writing, they add on like a small, like a section where you can have a paid version. And so I've been giving people like, I don't know if you've received my Friday one, and eventually that'll be like on a paid tier. They want you to have that. And so I set my like tiers all the way as low as they could possibly go. So like if somebody wants to support me like monetarily, they can do that. But I didn't want to like rob anyone. I'm like, spend your money on paint or something. And I was actually shocked at how fast that like my first paid subscriber came through. So that was really cool. And then just like the people who are reading it, right? So when I get an email if somebody subscribes, and it only tells me their email. So it's like some of them are interesting, right? I'm like, I don't know who that is, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, this guy subscribed to my newsletter. And then generally it's followed by a Facebook or Instagram message later, like, hey, I just found this article from this person. You know what I mean? This Q&A, whatever. This was
That's
epic.
dope.
Have you asked this guy? Like, this guy's got an interesting story. You know what I mean? Go ask
Yeah.
him 7-8 questions. So I have like a huge log now of Q&As
people
I have
you
to
can
work through.
My
Yeah.
God, the people you could interview, because again, you're going to meet old guys, you're going to meet people,
Yep.
and we all love to gab. We're all like hens. We're going to send you to the next guy and send you to the next guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly. So that's
actually
been
did
really
it.
cool, right? So like
Yeah.
I did a small article on Clatter, or a Q&A with Andy Horvath on Clatter, and the reason I messaged him is because I bought all his ProFlex stuff. So I was like, this guy's pretty interesting. And so I see like he's making a brand, right? And I'm like, nobody talks about the new brands. They always have to do the legwork themselves. So I'm
Yep.
like, let me reach out, tell me what your company is, tell me what you're doing. I put that out there, and everyone else is like, "Yeah, we've been seeing this Clatter thing. What is that about? We wanted to know what it's about, right?" So like that kind of thing, and then people obviously reaching out and being like, "Hey, my buddy has this company that just started to make headbands, 3D printed gizmos and whatnot. Like, you should ask him. He's got an interesting story. Like, he's starting a paintball company in his garage, which, as we know, like all the best paintball companies to ever exist were started in a garage or basement. So if you can kind of start telling those stories earlier, I think it's better for not only like the paintball industry getting bigger, but also like just the way we communicate as paintball players.
For sure. And excuse me. That's what I actually wanted to. Let's get into that. Let's talk about the small companies. You said you're getting a lot of people saying like, "Hey, you should interview XYZ or whoever," right?
Yep.
Have you? And you said you've been around for a little while.
Yes.
Obviously, by the small militia worth of
Goggles
JT products behind you.
Yeah.
Starting your own field. What have you found? Have you noticed an influx or an increase in like the small companies, that the little guys like popping up out of the woodwork with, like you said, headbands, apparel, accessories, and whatnot?
3D doodads.
3D doodads. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed there's like lots of little companies suddenly popping up, or at least starting to? Or
yeah, I think there's been quite a few now. Do they all like get the shine, and does their stuff hit the Instagram algorithm so you see it? No, but it's like, I was just talking to a guy. He started like a small paintball company using the same area code I live in, and I'm like, I don't even know this guy. You know what I mean? So I had to reach out. And I'm gonna see him at a couple events this year, and I've sent some of my good friends to his website because I'm like, yo, you're making some cool stuff. So I think that there's a lot of space now for people to be creative, right? 3D printing is sick. Like back in the day, if you had like a cool Titman, or you know what I mean, like an Autococker trilogy or something, you had to go to the field, you had to go to the pro shop and see if a part fit. Well, now with 3D printing, you can just, you know what I mean, you can make it fit, right? So it's like, if you want to make something for a very obscure gun and keep that gun rolling, you know what I mean, you can do it and you can sell it. So like Paintball DNA, for example, right? They make stock class tubes. Who else is making stock class tubes, right? Nobody.
It's funny. I always forget about Paintball DNA, and then I see them, and I'm like, man, like, why did I forget that these guys existed? Because they make some cool stuff.
They do, or like those tiny little loaders, or the newt barrel that's like a horn. You know, have you seen that thing?
The Loudener.
Yeah, it's like a giant horn barrel.
Did you just call it a newt?
That's what they call it. Yep.
Yeah, they call it the
like
newt,
Pingu,
as in like Pingu. Newt.
Yeah.
I don't care. I now want one.
It's the loudest paintball barrel you'll ever shoot.
I'm going to get
really is. I've heard it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Because I need something that makes me more obnoxious on the paintball field.
Oh, it's brutal, man. It's brutal, and it's usually I don't think they print it in anything other than neon.
Yeah,
I don't even think they make a black one. I think it's all like highlighter colors, which
I would
only fits. But yeah, it's straight up Pingu, like newt. It is proper. I love it.
There it is.
But I've noticed the same thing. I've noticed a lot. Like out of the woodwork. And I think Hormesis had a lot to do with this, where it was like
absolutely
Hormesis came out of not out of nowhere. You saw them kind of slow burn. They did a slow burn coming up, but it was like, okay, well, this company can just make headbands and sell them. Why can't I? And everybody started doing it. We're seeing more and more companies coming out, more and more people doing it. Because really, all you need is a sewing machine. Boom, you can bang out headbands. You got to learn how to sew.
Yeah, you got to have some skill, but yeah,
you got to have some skill. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't need a factory to do it. No, you know what I mean? And now the latest one is, God, I forget the name. I got to look it up. But Buddy does chin straps, but they're like jewelry.
We were talking about that.
That's
a really cool idea.
Right. So I'm loving that these guys, like, they're reaching out to you. I like that they're and your newsletter is helping them out. Like, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I sure hope it is, right? It's like
yeah, right.
And like I had my first sponsor of the newsletter, which is Hired Guns PB, and it's the same type situation. This guy's making jerseys, he's making 3D printed stuff, he's making funny RuneScape themed jerseys, which if you were like
RuneScape.
Which is like if you were into that kind of video games. I don't know if you've seen in the newsletter, he has these promo shots that are hilarious. He's just photoshopped himself into old school RuneScape wearing the jersey. And
I've seen that. Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna sell these, dude. This is awesome.
It's just so bad that you have to like give it credit.
Dude, it's incredible, right? So like I feel like if you have any sort of artistic vision in the sport now, and like 3 or 4 good buddies who know how to do anything, you can totally start a paintball company that makes money. Right?
100%. Also, drop shipping or print on demand. Like you don't need to own anything. You can just come up with this killer design, throw it on a t-shirt, and sell it to people. So
absolutely,
I'm loving that. I'm just sorry. It's great talking to somebody who is in the, what's the term? Like in media, right? But it's refreshing to see a new written media, and that it's getting traction so well. So I'm really loving that.
And one of the things that I really want to do is we have all this coverage of like NXL events and like the 5 biggest big games in the world. And so for me, I like 10-man paintball. That's like where my heart is. I like playing in the woods. I like playing, what I mean? I like playing the hyperball. I like playing airball. I like it all. But I like the format that has it all, which is, for me, it's 10-man. And right now, we don't have any real coverage on it. There's a guy who did a really good podcast on it. It was the Classic Paintball podcast. He's not currently putting out anything. So my thought is, if I can interview some of the guys who came back to paintball after falling out of love with it when it went straight to speedball, you know what I mean? I think like that can be beneficial. I think one of the things paintball struggles with is reigniting that fire in people, so it's not like the same thing, right? Because in paintball, a lot of times people have like a bad experience and they're like, man, do I got to go do that again next weekend? You know what I mean? Well, if we keep it fresh and exciting, which I think like bringing back old school formats, like next we need 7-man, or we need like the UWL to come back or something.
Well,
which that, in my opinion, I think we need that so people can fall in love with the game.
It's funny you should mention that me and Tom have been not arguing, more pleading. A local field owner, he's got a fully set up, fully prepped 10-man woods ball field.
Sick.
Ready to go.
Trees cut down from 6 feet. This
from 6
is
feet
ready
to the
to
ground.
roll.
He's delimbed it. He's built the bunkers. It's symmetrical. Nobody has touched foot on it because he's just never opened it to anybody.
Really?
Never really. We just getting the people out there. You've got to try to get that love back, because here it's a lot
of the guys there are playing.
Yeah.
They're playing airball, right? They're doing proper tourney ball. And I think like
I like those savage days.
A mechanical tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think a mech tournament in the woods would be.
That's what's up.
That would bring. You'd have like it would be.
You would get every old dude who hung up his automag 20 years ago because they dropped the speed down. They didn't like electro. They're all 50, 55, not much older, and they want to get out and play. They're 50 years old. They're not old men. They're guys. I'm 41 and I'm still got a few years left to play. So I can't compete with the young bloods.
Josh's ears are burning. What up, buddy?
I can't compete with the young bloods that are like lightning. I want to fight a guy that's my age, that's got a dad bod, that wants to use a mechanical gun because we're slow. But my God, I can put the bullet between your eyes. I'm going to hit you with that paintball. But I'm fat and slow, and I'm not running that distance. Let's just get that.
I just want to play in a field where there's at least a chance that the little guy's going to get slowed down because there's brush under his feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm
100%.
hoping for.
I do. I totally get that. We just, my local field, yesterday I went out there with the gang to do drills, and all we did was build up this woods ball field because we had guys with chainsaws. And it's like,
you got guys with chainsaws and are willing to use them on a field. You get going, right?
Yeah, we get going, and we've played. I told everybody, I was like, hey, we have a woods ball event, an event that's just on woods, 10 on 10 in our home state in a few months. So it's like we have to play in the woods at least 2 games a weekend minimum. So the last few weekends we've been playing in the woods, and the guys who don't like the woods are like, oh my God, I just had the most fun.
No,
right?
What they don't like is they don't like playing on an unstructured woods ball field that somebody just basically wrapped tape around and said, yeah, this is a woods ball field for scenario games. And it's like, cool, man. Did you bunkers? No, use the natural terrain. Natural terrain
It's
sucks.
just like brush. Yeah, it's tough.
There's a reason why, there's got to be some thought put into it. Sure, use the natural terrain, but also, and
yes, I prefer the term
so
sponsor.
Josh, if you're watching in the chat, let's get a mech only game going in that 10-man. One day tournament.
There has been talk of a mech tournament, and I'm down for it.
100%.
I'm always down for mech ball. I love it.
I'm gonna have to borrow a mech, but I'm absolutely down.
Fortunately, have several that you can't break again.
I was just say the Hellion's mechanical, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's why I said don't mess with it. Oh, so it came in. I got my gator mail.
Yes, let's
my bump cap.
Detour to that.
Yeah, sorry, I got my bump cap, so that's funny. But I'm mostly stoked about the Schmeckel shield. I'm really quite pleased about the Schwang blocker. That is just, I'm gonna jingle now wherever I go. Brad has said it sounds like Lord Humongous.
Lord Humongous from
I'm gonna just come out, so watch out. I'm gonna come out just wearing gator mail and a mask. Y'all gonna go blind from the sheer awesomeness of it. So everybody go to gator mail and get yourself some chainmail for paintball for airsoft. It's nice and light. It makes a nice sound when you run. It's fun.
He's got chainmail, loincloth.
Yeah, a chainmail loincloth. It is. I'm telling you. It's a little long. I mean, I'm part Irish, but I'll take it.
Hung like a tuna can.
Whoa. Sardine, you son of a bitch.
All right. So what's your plans for the future? This fancy newsletter you got going, man? What's the long-term goals?
Mostly I just stay committed, right? It's also something that like I don't write professionally, so it's like it's something to keep that part of my brain occupied, where it's like, man, I kind of miss, chugging coffee and cranking out bits of writing every now and then. So like I got to stay committed. I do have a backlog of stuff to get through still.
Wicked. No, that's good though. Backlog means that like you're not going to be scrambling like, oh, what are we going to do this week?
No,
God, finding articles or something to write about is so hard when you write. Like I wrote online ads for a company, and some days you just sit there and you're like, what am I going to write about? Yeah. And how am I going? And you've got a deadline. You got to put that out, and you're sitting there going, "What am I going to pull out of my ass to do this today?" And then
I do that with the show.
Yeah, I know. It shows sometimes, and that's why I love live. Anything can go wrong.
Yeah, and I also have like I used to use writing on Paintball just to warm up for other writing. So if I had like a thought, like for a while it was like the Empire Axe is the best paintball gun in the world, let me defend that position for 5 pages. You know what I mean? So but I have like tons of stuff like that where it's like, I could tune this into a newsletter, like a newsletter-esque article really fast. Like I really think somebody needs to make like an ASMR video on YouTube. It's 3 hours long of just paintballs hitting hyperball tubes. Like, do you know what that would do for people? Like, because everyone else is like, here's like the sound effects of like a paintball tournament. It's like, well, like let's make one that's not just a paintball tournament, but it sounds like your average paintball field. You know what I mean? It's like people need to do stuff like that.
It would just be an enormous like ringing of the hypertubes, which I'm not even going to try to mimic those sounds. But okay, so traditional ASMR, traditional like I'm going to try and fall asleep. Let's do like you got the ocean, and then so you got the waves, and you can hear like birds every once in a while. So with paintball, it would be the balls hitting the hypertubes, and then cans of beverages cracking in the background.
Yeah, and like
and then somebody getting cursed out.
Yeah,
someone cussing out a ref halfway through.
But it's like in the distance. It's like off in the distance of somebody yelling at a ref.
Oh my, that's
that would be something. I'm just saying, like, imagine like you're packing your paintball gear and you're like, you know what? I need to sound like I'm on the paintball field when I do this.
If only one of the three people in this conversation was sitting in a fully equipped recording studio, do such a thing
with a writer and a comedian. Whatever could you do?
Yeah,
a montage of Tom screaming at people on the field. And some of the obscenities I've yelled at children, I mean adults, I mean other players.
Children at heart.
Oh God, yeah. There's no better, there's no greater sport in the universe than paintball when you are sanctioned to launch firearms, balls of paint at children, and they can shoot back.
Throw it at them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's sometimes if you have an autococker doesn't want to work, that might be more effective.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. But I just think like there's room for that kind of stuff. And so I have like a backlog of stuff to do. I've also had now some people reach out in the industry to write on their projects, which is kind of cool. Just like here and there. Like actual projects too, not like the ones that they're like, hey, you want to help me for this? But you don't get paid and no one will know your name, you know? Because like I've been doing that forever. And there's still people I will do that for. But I'm not going to do that for the rest of my life, you know?
No. Eventually you got to be like, I know my worth.
Well, even that, it's like, I just want to, if I just put it out here and I know, like, I can kind of say what I want, you know, or like I can talk to the people I want. I don't want somebody to be like, oh, I don't want to include this, or I don't want to interview this person on the podcast, or I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like have a feature on this person because they're sponsored by whatever. It's like, who cares about all that, right? Like their story deserves to be told.
This man understands how we feel about that stuff. It is I love being on the radio, but there are days where I really do miss being able to. I can still do it, but it's not quite the same. So yeah, being your own master of your own destiny in your writing and in your content creation is definitely fun.
It gives me an idea. Tom, I'll shoot you a message afterwards.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Let's not tangent that right now. We've things to do, people to talk to.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I had a thought. I lost it. It's gone.
It's okay.
Whatever.
It's okay.
What's your favorite article so far? What newsletter? Like if somebody's like, hey man, show me your newsletter. What's the first one that you pull out and you're just like, man, you got to read this one.
You got to read this one? Man, I thought the first one I did with the one I did with Joe Barrett on his podcast, which is all about it's called the Paintball Passport, and he's just talking to people about what paintball has done for them in terms of travel, right? Because everyone who's ever gone anywhere for paintball, even if it's 2 hours away, has a hilarious story that you want to hear. So I thought that one was good because obviously we all know like the major podcasts in paintball and the major shows, but it's like sometimes you want a different voice, right? So for me, that was my favorite one to be able to share with some of my friends who listen to podcasts who didn't know. Like this guy literally just tells stories about, it's paintball related, but it's about like going and playing for some team in Mexico or like traveling to practice. And then they interview other people who like through the grapevine heard this guy has a hilarious story about being in Venezuela or something. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So for me, that was great. And especially like I've had people hit me up and be like, hey man, you got to feature more podcasts. And that's how I think I originally reached out to you, is saying I
Well,
was going to
let
include
me look
your
back
podcast,
now.
but-
What if
I'm going
it
to
was?
put you on the spot here.
Yeah, I may have done that.
No, you
'Cause-
straight up just sent me a message. Hey man, recently started a weekly paintball newsletter. Not sure if you're into that kind of thing or not, but subscribing to the newsletter is free. And then you just sent me a link.
Oh, sick. Well,
That is the
there-
coldest sale pitch I've
I-
ever seen, and
It worked.
and-
He's
and
on the
it
show.
worked.
It worked. But I think the reason I did it is I have a list and I have an article that I'm working on. It's called Paintball Programming, and it's like what to tune into throughout the week, right? Because nobody ever keeps in mind like what shows, what day, whatever, and then they try and catch up. So I'm trying to put them together. That's like a TV guide for paintball.
That's
There was
cool.
a time. There was a time back in the day that, God, how long ago? 7, 8 years ago, that there was a podcast or stream of some kind every day of the week.
Yes,
It was wild. And we all talked to each other because we all negotiated our days of the week.
That's hilarious. I love that. And
Like-
I know that the NXL is trying to do this with Major League Paintball with their YouTube channel where they book somebody every day to go live, which is cool. But like, not everybody wants the NXL Major League Paintball story. You know what I mean? Like that's sick, but not everybody likes that. The majority of our sport doesn't play in the NXL. The majority of our sport
and
plays
that's
on
They're
weekends.
indies. Nobody wants WWE. They want the indies. They want Ring
Well,
of Honor. They want the local guys.
I think the thing with Major League Paintball, and it's not so much that it's definitely not. How do I word this? It's not just that not everybody wants to hear the Major League Paintball stories, but I can only listen to the top 4, like somebody from the top 5 teams of the last decade tell the same journey story. You know what I mean? Over and over again.
Yeah, I get it.
So it would be cool, man, if they started bringing on like somebody who played like they played their first World Cup tournament. You know what I mean? Like,
let them tell a story.
Right? It's like cool, man. Ryan Greenspan, great dude, awesome. It's compared to hockey. Let's compare it to hockey because that's the better one I know. It's like somebody interviewing Sidney Crosby and he telling his harrowing story of growing up in Nova Scotia for the 15,000th time. You know, I'm sure Tom's got an F1 reference he could probably pick out.
Oh yeah, I mean, how many times have we heard how amazing Max Verstappen at 17 is the greatest driver, and then Lewis Hamilton beats
Hamilton. That's the one. I don't even watch F1, and I know about Lewis Hamilton.
Because you've listened to me yell about Lewis Hamilton for the last 5 years.
Right?
Yeah, and so, not to I don't want to be like that guy who's like, I don't want to hear those stories. Like I do, but I want more. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I want
That's
something
just
else.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like, somebody tell me about what it was like playing paintball and then PPL in 2007. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want in my brain. Or like, tell me about building this paintball gun. That's what I want in my brain right now. I don't necessarily always want to hear.
That's great. That's because that's what we want. We don't want. It's that episode of The Simpsons where you kids don't know what you want. Well, paintball is the same way. We don't know what we want, but you seem to have figured it out. That I think you might be on to unlocking it because tell me about Brad. Tell me about paintball in 2000 and 2011. Tell me a story.
Woods ball.
Yeah, I'd love that. That's what we need.
Amazing. Actually, 2011 was a rough year.
Was it?
Believe it or not.
Like
2008
that, to me,
crashed the economy.
It's the histories. I want the history. I want to know what made it tick. So that does make for good, and that makes for good reading because I might want to listen to some arsehole go on a tangent for 20 minutes about a Schmeckel shield. I just want to read about paintball in 2011. Here I am trying to convince people to listen to our show. At the same time, I'm like, just go read this guy's articles because it's going to get you paintball. You want paintball, you go read these articles. You want a little paintball content and someone to yap at you, you listen to us.
Yeah, put us on the background and go read this guy's articles. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, great.
I love it. I think your newsletter is going to do phenomenal because it's so easily digestible. Because each newsletter is not just, if I look at the newsletter, it comes in top story, look at that and go, okay, cool, great, love it. I think the last one was WNXL or no, NXL Europe. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
I just read it.
Had the NXL Europe results, and then I had an interview with Jen Folk on there.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was Jen. That's where I got the WNXL part into my head. But it's like, okay, that's cool, and like that's a great story. But if you go past it, there's other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So where was it? Where was I just looking at?
Oh,
the RuneScape
the
thing
one that
pops up, right? Like it's
5 more paintball films to watch, because I saw that
was a
popped
great
up
idea,
someplace,
man.
but that
Thank
popped
you.
up somewhere before. Like I've never gone onto this before tonight, but I'm not kidding when I tell you I saw that 5 movies to watch, because I think the number 1 movie was Blackballed, was it not?
Blackball's a great
This
movie.
list I read,
Yeah.
the other day, I read a list, and it was the paintball movies to watch, and I think number 1 was Blackballed.
Blackball's a great movie to watch about paintball, but it's kind of like watching a movie about a guy
Hockey.
who about it's like watching the Mighty Ducks movie.
I meant more just that if I'm almost sure, because it's 5 more, so I'm hoping it was your article that I just probably find.
No, the blackball thing, that was somebody else. But I was posting like, hey, give me your like film recommendations. Like I'm going to be putting out a top 20 ranked paintball, like for me, right? My top 20, and I'm going to be putting out 5 every week, but not ranked, just for you guys to watch. And there was somebody who had already written something about blackballed, and it was like a college level. Like I wrote a project about it, and he had like commented on and posted that on one of my Facebook posts or something.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
this is amazing. And everyone else is like sharing that. And I'm like, that's good enough for me. If somebody else is reading this guy's article about blackball, which is hilarious. Like I have a buddy who like when he first got into paintball, he found blackballed at like some random like thrift store, and he was like, a movie on paintball, watches it, and he like quotes it all the time. He barely plays paintball. But he's always like, he'll tell some kid at the field, you got to be like Bobby Dukes, man. Just cheat, you know? And it's hilarious.
Bobby Dukes is the most common thing I hear about from that movie.
Yeah. Because it was
Bobby
like
Dukes,
they took
just
all the
cheat.
top players at the time, boiled them down into just like comedic sludge. And it was Bobby Duke. Like 100%. Greg Hastings used to tell stories. I remember chatting with him, not to drop names or name drop, but
yeah.
Got to hang out with him a couple of times, and he would tell us stories about where like different ways they would sit around a table and joke and literally brainstorm different ways to cheat.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what you did.
Got to be on top of your craft, boys. You got to be on top of your craft.
Yeah, and anybody who says speedballers are all cheaters, no. Paintballers are all cheaters.
Yeah.
At one point or another.
At one point or another, I'm sure we've all walked a shot off.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we all have. Don't lie to yourself if you have.
Yeah, anybody who says they haven't, liar. And an airsoft player.
Yes. Yep.
I love that, man. That's awesome. So who's sorry, we got about 4-ish minutes. Yeah. Oops.
So who's next on your
who's next?
Who's next? Oh boy, I can't.
Article?
You know what's funny is so some of these I got to do a lot of cleaning up. So it just depends on who's I'm able to clean up by Monday. But generally speaking, and if somebody sends me something that like requires like almost no work from me, I'm gonna bump whatever I was planning. So it's like I have a bunch of. I don't have a clear-cut schedule for who I'm featuring every week. And I try and tell people that. There are some people that are like, hey, can you wait till past this date? Because maybe I'm launching a product or something, and I don't want this out yet. So, But other than that, it's kind of like whatever I'm feeling on the weekend, you know, like whatever I get to. So I try not to stay super aggressive on a timeline. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I like that. Yeah, we've actually got a guy he's got a tentative. I don't have a date for him to come on the show, but I told him he's got a spot as soon as he's ready.
Oh,
I know what that's like, and it's kind of exciting. I'm actually super pumped to have him on. Hopefully things are working.
So that's like a big fish, yeah? It's a big fish.
It's a good one. It's a new fish. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to. I don't want to give it too much. I don't think it's going to make a big splash, but I think it's going to eventually make a lot of ripples.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
He won't even tell me. So
this is one of those like sleepers. Like it's going to show up. People are going to be like, whatever. This is nothing. Whatever. Who cares? But then like
Mr.
6 months to a year later, it's going to be like, why aren't you using this?
Yeah.
Someone post that link. I'm looking for it. I want to see it.
Oh yeah, the dead man walk in Australia.
I think dead man walks are the funniest thing in the world. So
yeah, I had a buddy pull one of those off at a local event, dude, and it was like that was so funny. But I hope you know the rest of your tournament, you are getting ripped in half. Everybody on the box with you is getting cut in half, dude.
Yeah, I love telling this. I love telling this story because I got dead man walked by somebody. He walks up to me. It was in a big game. It was a big game. It wasn't a tournament. It was like 500 players. It was a D-Day in Ottawa. And
dead man walks at a big game. That's crazy.
Yeah, he walks up out of nowhere, right? And he's put his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, "Man, it's crazy. You could just walk through here, and they think you're out, and then you can put your hand on someone and tell them that they're out of the game." And he's put his hand on my shoulder, and I looked at his armband, and I realized he had a different color armband than me. And he said, "Man, what do you think of that?" And I took the barrel of my marker and I put it to his junk, and I said, "I think I didn't accept the surrender, and you should walk."
I like that.
He just looks down, looks at me, he goes, "Good man." Just continues walking on.
I love that. You responded completely appropriately. That was awesome.
And not to get like too into the detail here, but there was weight at the end of my barrel. Like I was not just lightly touching, like it was.
You smacked him in the nards.
So
I love that.
We got 30 seconds, man.
We got 30 seconds to tell you you're pretty.
Shout out whoever's backing you, whoever you want to shout out. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, so far the only sponsor for my newsletter is Hired Guns PEB. I'd like to shout them out. Thanks for believing in me, giving me the opportunity to show your products. And then obviously all my local friends here in Superior who play at Superior Paintball, I'd like to shout them out for being cool every weekend and playing paintball.
Awesome. Yeah. And where can people find your newsletter?
Paintballdirt.substack.com, or if you Google Brandon Olson Paintball Dirt, I will show up first thing on Google. So
just Google his name and dirt.
You can Google me as well. So
awesome, man. Awesome. So it was a ton of fun having you on. We will definitely be in touch. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for coming on, man. And thanks to all you fantastic, beautiful people in the comments who were liking and chatting and sharing and all that jazz. Much appreciated. Sorry for the rough start. I'm getting used to somebody else being in the studio before me. So, but that's it, folks. We're out of here. Until next week. Cheers.
Doodles.